Welcome back to another YFC Salesforce Solutions video. In this video, we're going to cover Salesforce activities and how this directly relates to really enhancing your Salesforce instance as well as your relationships with your constituents. This is going to provide immense benefit for your organization long term, and this is really the core way that you track development efforts and or donor tracking touch points, those things that really matter that just a transactional database doesn't encompass. So what we're going to do is just cover the basics of tracking activities in Salesforce and how that really integrates to a lot of great aspects that are already built out in Salesforce, ready for you to use today. One thing good to know is that some people think their CRM or their database is going to just do the marathon and do everything for them. You know, this is really where the rubber hits the road, where you are doing the things that are necessary to be able to really build long-term lasting relationships with your donors and to stop managing things on pieces of paper or sticky notes. So I'll get off my soapbox here and we'll just go ahead and dive into Salesforce. Now, one thing I did want to point out, if you go to the YFC training page, that'll bring you to obviously the Youth for Christ Salesforce page. If you click on training videos and then development. Jake Bland did a great video. Actually, it was kind of a conference call about the development strategy. So this is what is deployed and how you're going to be able to really manage your day. There's some great things that we've created. So this video that we're doing right now lines up really well with the development weekly activities, development monthly activities. There's a quarterly activities report as well. For sure, start on these two. And then as well, if you have time and you're ready to graduate to the mobile app for doing either on Android or iPhone, I highly encourage you to watch this. The nice part about the mobile app is you can actually dictate notes right into your Salesforce, so there's a great demonstration for that as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and explain activities. So the raw core, just the raw element of this, is tracking different tasks or events in Salesforce. So let's say, for instance, I had a donor meeting. We're in our test developer org, so there's not a whole lot of individuals loaded, but obviously you could understand what this is. So let's just say I had a donor meeting with Matt Foster. It might seem kind of silly, I'm meeting with myself, but there's a lot of different information on this page that you should be updating. Obviously there's not a whole lot on here, so highly encourage you to update this page. It's going to give better visibility to your organization. But truly, at the end of the day, as far as logging activities, this is where you go and really should be your home plate. A lot of people like to call it an activity superstar, so just get used to this. Integrate this into your day to be successful. So there's three main buttons that you're going to be looking at. Log a call, new task, or new event. Once again, log a call, new task, or new event. So if you need to memorize three things, memorize these three. So to explain, log a call is logging a call. So you had a conversation with someone, you simply want to log some activity that you've already done, right? So let's go ahead and dive into this. We'll hit log a call. So let's say before the donor meeting, we had a great phone conversation with Matt. In the subject field, you can name it whatever you want. Call about banquet, or whatever it might be. Or let's make it a little more nebulous. Campus life. And the due date will automatically fill out to today's date, so hopefully you're logging these as you're doing them. That's the highest recommendation, is to log them as you do them. If your life isn't integrated into Salesforce and you want to do high-end development things, Salesforce really just needs to be just like your email is. It's up on your computer every day, and it's here as well. This is where you can log comments. The nice part about this comments box on the Salesforce One app, so the app on your phone, is that you can dictate right into here. But on your computer, if you have a dictating service, I'm sure you could do that as well. But let's go ahead and type it in. Talk with Matt about his desire to help out kids in high school that want to know more about Jesus. Just some comments, right? Just a synopsis of your call. So logging the call is this section here. If you want to schedule a follow-up task, so let's say Matt wants me to schedule a meeting with him and call back next week, Tuesday. Obviously, these notes are for you. They're for your reference. You don't necessarily need to type all these things in. Typically, the more the better. So we're relating this task to the individual. We can also relate it to a donation if you wanted to. You could look that up. But you could just save right here. If it was just login call, you could just save right here. But because there's some follow-up activity on here, we're going to go ahead and schedule a follow-up task. Oh wow, it's on the same screen. Nice and easy. So the subject is call for appointment. All these are internal, so you could use shorthand codes, whatever you'd like, whatever makes sense for you, and whatever people in your organization are going to understand quickly. So we said you wanted to call next Tuesday, so we're going to go ahead and set that, and we'll hit save. So this actually did two things. So if we scroll back down, this logged a call. So this is the call that we had here. You can see the date that had it. You can see who had it. So if it was your username, it would show up here. And then you're going to be able to see your open activities. So call for an appointment right here. So the open activities, you're probably wondering, how am I going to get notified of this? Well, there's many different ways in Salesforce you can get notified, but the core ways is when you log in on your home page, you're going to see My Tasks. My recommendation is to set this to the next 7 days plus overdue tasks. And you don't want to be bombarded by tasks. You really want to guard this section. If you're seeing a whole lot of red items in this section, it means you're really not being a good steward of your tasks. You want to be able to clean these up and or just stay on top of these as much as possible. Because these tasks can or will also synchronize to your phone, to that Salesforce One app. So again, there's that video. Or if you integrate your email system, they can synchronize to your tasks to that as well as your calendar. So really want to be a good steward here. And then come 7/28 when I log into Salesforce, I'll get a nice little screen pop here as well. Say call for appointment, Matt Foster. That should be a great reminder for you to go ahead and get that done. So let's dive back into Matt Foster here. So let's just continue the relationship. Let's say we had the call. I went back on the phone and called Matt for an appointment, and he says, yep, I want to go ahead and create an appointment. So just as a reminder, log a call, new task, new event. So when we did the log a call, because we did that schedule follow-up, that's really just creating a new task. So let's say you didn't want to log a call, you just want to create some task because there's something you want to do. Click new task. This should look very familiar to that schedule follow-up task area. So subject, say we didn't do it on that same page as log a call, it would be follow-up for appointment. So there's that right there. So the status is going to be not started, in progress, or completed. And when you do complete tasks, it goes in completed, and then that would be put into the next section here. So let's go ahead and cancel. Okay, let's go ahead and follow up. And so we logged a call. We went ahead and did a task to follow up. So you can go ahead and close that out. So say you did that, and you can close it. Go to completed status. We'll hit save because you did call him. And let's say that you got an appointment. A lot of times what people will do for some of those follow-ups, if they don't get a hold of someone, they'll just move that due date to a later time. So maybe you got a voicemail, maybe you log another call, just left a voicemail for him, but then you move that non-completed task just to a further due date. But let's say for this instance, we actually did get a hold of him, and we were able to schedule an event or a meeting. So meeting about campus life. So we're scheduling a meeting. So the only difference thing between tasks and events, task is a thing you're doing in a day. An event actually is a start and stop time. And you can invite people to it. So let's say it's at Starbucks. We're going to meet. And we're meeting next Wednesday from 9 to 10 a.m. There we go. So also the nice part, like I said, you can invite others within your organization. You can add attachments. And if you click this Add to Invites button, he can actually get a nice little meeting invite. I don't think I have an email on my record, so I'm going to go to my donor record just so you can see what that experience looks like. So I'm going to add an email. Let's put my work email in here. Change the preferred to work. Go ahead and save that. So now we'll go back to that event. I'll hit add to invites now. No, there we go. Went ahead and loaded that. So if it says save and send update and you see that name on there, that individual, you can send them a nice little meeting invite. And we'll show you what that experience looks like. So let's say we're going ahead and schedule that. We'll hit save and send update. So what we did is create an event that is open. So after this date goes by, it'll go into active history. And if you have the C little 2-person, that means you actually did send them an invite. So let's go ahead and I will show you what this meeting request looked like. So here's the nice little meeting request that comes through. Because my username is set up as Jordan, that's how it came through. It says subject, meeting about campus life, where, he can go ahead and click on it, add it to his calendar if he wants, or when and where. He can respond to this request if he'd like to. He can say, yeah, I'm undecided, or I accept. A lot of people don't accept, but if he wants to, certainly could. And they don't need Salesforce to do this as well. There's a nice little interface here where they can comment back, and it'll automatically add that comment back into Salesforce. So really nice, just nice, clean, crisp meeting invite back there. So let's go ahead and let's go back to our screen. So we've got this open activity, we've got the active histories, so that's really the core. So log a call, new task, new event. Hopefully all this makes sense. If you want to get really fancy, there's this thing called meeting request. I'm going to say that you really need to master log a call, new task, and new event before you start this. Feel free to do meeting request. Basically what a meeting request is going to do is you're going to be able to give blocks of time for people to go ahead and respond. So it's really neat. You can click different sections, and you can get more of an interactive variable. Yeah, I'd like to meet with you. You can see a sample request. This is what comes through to him. You can actually insert your logo, and they can check the box and say, yep, I can do this time and this time, and then you just confirm that and do that. So it's a little higher end use, but absolutely would recommend just log a call, new task, new event. So the investment in doing this is that now when anyone, say a new development person or a new staff person or whoever might be, comes to this record, this is how they see this relationship detail. So very, very important. And how I want to follow up this is the reports. So if you click on your reports tab, there should be 3 different reports folder. So YFC weekly activities. So I'm going to dive into weekly. Like I said, if you want to get more detail, go ahead and watch these videos, training videos, development. There's weekly activities and monthly activities. So by doing these, now you're starting to utilize the pipeline that Jake Bland and the National Development Team has started to use. So the reason why the activities are so important is that anytime you do an activity, this last activity date is updated. So let's go ahead and find a report. Like I said, we don't have a lot of data in here. So we can do last week's reflections or my activities this week. So I'll show you what you have going on, some of the things that we logged for this date, location. But the most important thing when you're starting to manage a large donor database is, you might see something in here. So let's clear that. There we go. So we had a filter that said any donation that came in last week, but we don't have that much data. So now I can see my last activity date, right? So we've had some activity with Diane, with the Matt Foster household. We can see that there's some activity and even activity upcoming. So this is really where you can help sort and be able to see, when is the last touch point? For me, a notification, if I got no touch points on this person here, Jake Bland, wow, I need to reach out to him. Or maybe the last activity date was, a year ago. wow, there's just nothing been going on with this donor. So that's really just the nuts and bolts of logging activities. Very, very easy to do. Simply find the person you're looking for up in this global search. Go to that individual record. Go ahead and log the history that you've had with them. I do encourage you to log it on individuals, not accounts, because you want that individual relationship. So hopefully this is all helping, and it helps you do your development better and really start to use your donor database as a development tool and to build relationships. Thanks.